and welcome. This installment of Speculation, Spoilers, and Suggestions is undeniably overdue, but in the overall MCU sagascape, it is still relevant. Plus, if I don't finally get this off my chest in a video, it's going to keep bothering me like Doctor Strange to Dormammu. There have been, and presumably still are, other folks who share my conviction that Natasha is still alive. But their reasoning seems to generally pull from Steve Rogers' final mission in Avengers Endgame and or the conclusion of the Disney Plus Loki series. Well and good, but there was always a simpler explanation built into the Red Skull's speech. However, it's one that might make both sets of searchers seem uncomfortably slow on the uptake. In order to take the stone, you must lose that which you love. A soul for a soul. Everyone involved interpreted that statement to refer to a person. Unlikely, even allowing for the type of self-delusion that lunatics like Thanos cling to. Most searchers driven to that penultimate point would probably have already lost or outright rejected all emotional connections. What is more likely, though, is that if a person willingly sacrifices that which they love, they're forfeiting their own soul. Hence, a soul for a soul. The physical representation of the apparently accomplished sacrifice is merely a projection by the Soul Stone itself, or by the test construct. I'll get to that in a minute. But it's the same with Thanos' immediate post-snap conversation with toddler Gamora, or any other interaction with the Soul Stone, even in a deleted scene. So neither Natasha nor Gamora actually died in the course of Infinity War and Endgame. Whereabouts and circumstances, to be determined. This isn't just headcanon. That's a whole different series here. In spite of statements to the contrary, by the screenwriters and directors, it is simply the most logical interpretation of the dialogue and plot that they shared in the finished film. Or it's a final test of the worthy, not to reward them with the Soul Stone, but to convince them that the loss outweighs the goal. However, this is as flimsy an argument as the warning itself. It's pretty obvious that any pilgrim desperate and determined enough to have reached that step is going to go through with it. The Soul Stone, curiously, is the only Infinity Stone shown to require searchers to face this sort of metaphysical gauntlet, pun semi-intended. This indicates that the test, whether real or illusionary, is not innate to the stone itself, but rather has been built around it by party or parties unknown. Seems like some industrial strength magic, if you ask me. Light or dark, tough call. And cast by whom or what, even tougher. But those are my thoughts on the fate of the Black Widow. Let me know yours in the comments. The like and subscribe buttons are always handy if you're interested in more speculations, spoilers, and suggestions, or reminiscences, ruminations, and rebukes. Thanks for your time. Stop back again.